Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Basement. Thank you for joining me today. I will be making for you what will probably turn into a long video about a stock, a small company, a small gold mining company that has kind of captivated my attention for the last month or so. I've actually followed this company for since it first came around back in 2015, 2016. The company is First Mining Gold. The symbol in the United States is FFMGF. I believe in Toronto it is FF.TO. So let me just tell you a little bit about this company. We'll start down here. 2015, 2016, started by a gentleman named Keith Neumeyer. He, at that time, there was what could almost be called a depression within the gold mining sector. Like the index that tracks the gold mining companies had decreased, I don't know, something like 75, 80, 90% in value from 2011 through 2015. So there were a lot of good quality gold projects available on the market at a steep discount. So what he did was he formed this company, and over the next couple of years they went out and what most likely was at a very discounted price, they acquired a group of gold projects. They spent about $200 million US in my calculations to acquire these projects. I think they wound up with about 11 million ounces of gold in the ground. They measure it as resources, reserves, but at the end of the day, about this group of projects, they accumulated about 11 million ounces of gold in the ground. And again, they spent about 200 million US dollars in acquiring these. They issued stock to acquire all these companies. This company still to this day has zero debt. And at the end of that process, at the end of this process of acquisition here around 2016, the market cap of the company, which means the total value of all the stock, it's kind of the value that the stock market puts on the company, was $480 million. So at that point, gold had increased in value, not huge amount, but rather, had a nice little run to $13.50 per ounce. And as a result, the market rewarded the company with almost doubling or more than doubling the value of the company. So things were looking really, really great. Well, gold took a little dip after that, and in the ensuing years, gold went down. But as you can see, the price of gold today, today's very end of January 2020, is around $1,550 an ounce. So it's increased significantly from 2016. During that time period, the company still has no debt, and they've made some progress on their projects. They have a big project. All their projects are up, for the most part, up in Canada. Obviously, not this one in Nevada, but their biggest project is Spring Pole. It's a project that they are just starting the permitting process on. And their second biggest project in the same area is Goldland, which they are in the process of doing more exploratory drilling in an attempt to kind of expand the amount of gold that they have in the ground there. Recently, they announced a partnership, which is kind of exciting for these two are their prime projects. Prickle Crow is another project in that same area. It's a long-time mine that was shut down, I think, back in the 60s. Anyway, this, I think it's an Australian company that's had great success kind of redeveloping old mines like this, has partnered with the company, and essentially they're going to fund this whole process over the next 2-3 years to kind of bring this mine back to life and hopefully discover a lot more gold there. So from 2016, and this is the key here, where the market valued the company at almost $500 million, through today, what we've had happen is nothing bad has happened for this company. What has happened is some good things. They were advancing this major, large spring pole project. They're advancing another potentially huge project, Goldland. They got this great partnership with Pickle Crow, and they do have a little mine or a little claim in Nevada that's another company is going to be exploring, but I don't think that's a huge thing, but you never know what could happen there. So they've done some good things. They haven't acquired any more debt. So we've got some great kind of advancing of projects. We've got a gold price that's up significantly from this period, but we have a market cap that has shrunk to about 100 million US dollars. And I think the reason for that is that, obviously they're not making any money at this point. They're not producing any gold. They're in the process of kind of developing these projects that they have. So they're bleeding a little cash. There has been a little bit of dilution during that period. But I just think that there still has not been a recognition of the value of the smaller kind of developers, because this company is not an explorer. They're not, out really necessarily doing a lot of exploration. What they're doing is kind of developing some projects they already have. And the market, the market has, I think, rewarded some of the larger gold companies that are producing, making profits, some of the mid-sized companies that are producing, making a profit, but it's yet to recognize kind of the value that's present within the developers arena. Now, here's what I think is interesting. And this is just my opinion, but if gold price just stays where it is right now over the next 2 to 3 years, I'm telling you, a lot of these mid-sized companies and large companies, they're making a lot of money at $1,500 an ounce gold. The big guys and the mid-sized guys that are growing, even a company like Equinox or Fortuna Silver Mines, which is also more of a gold mining company now, they're going to be making a lot of money at $1,500 an ounce gold. And though if they do that over the next 2 to 3 years, their balance sheets, they are going to be flush with cash. The same companies that needed royalty companies to fund projects and things 3 or 4 years ago are now going to be in the exact opposite condition. They will have a lot of cash. And at that same time, it's well documented that there is a big deficiency, a big lack of reserves and resources that the large and mid-sized companies have on their books. They have not been exploring. No one's been exploring, and the people that have been exploring haven't been finding anything. So we could be setting up for a perfect storm for First Mining Gold if somebody is willing to wait 2 to 3 years. If gold prices stay where they are, that's probably the biggest key to this whole thing. And if First Mining Gold is able to advance further, Spring Pole, Goldland, and even Pickle Crow with their partner, 2 to 3 years from now, you're going to have a lot of companies with a lot of money that are going to be getting to I won't say desperate, but there's definitely going to be a big priority placed on acquiring more ounces in the ground. And at that point, it could be, like I said, like a perfect storm for First Mining, because they're going to have, in theory, if gold price stays up and if they're able to continue to advance their projects, they're going to have the projects available. Just some other general notes on the company. Keith Neumeyer, who has started 2 or 3 previous very successful companies. First Majestic Silver, I think it is a big silver company. Anyway, this guy is super highly regarded within the precious metals mining field. He's a good guy. There's a lot of information on him on the internet. You can watch a lot of videos. He's the chairman. The CEO is Dan Wilton. He's been in the position for about a year, and to the best of my knowledge, I'll say I'm very impressed. Good guy, knowledgeable. He came from the investment banking side, but he worked a lot with acquisitions and whatnot, and just a good guy. And he bought a lot of the stock last year, which is always a good sign. All right, so I'm going to wrap up and see if I just have some other kind of general thoughts on the company. You know, another way to look at this company is basically with a $100 million market cap, you're paying about $10 an ounce for an ounce of gold that's in the ground, per se. That's very cheap on many metrics. All their projects are in, pretty much all of them are in North America. Their big ones, their biggest projects, most valuable projects are in Canada. So from a geopolitical risk perspective, excuse me, you know, if something were to happen, if the, you know, doomsday type scenarios played out, this is a Canadian company with their mines located in Canada. We're not talking about Africa or South America or anything like that. This is, you know, something on a geopolitical level were to happen, which would make the price of gold go way up. First Mining Gold's assets are, you know, relatively secure compared to some of the other gold assets located in remote locations throughout the world. Let's see here if there's anything else I want to put in. You know, the gold mining industry is going to need ounces. That's a well-documented fact. I think that's about it. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I just think that we have the potential for the real potential for a confluence of factors to come together over the next 2 to 3 years, which could really help this company. You know, if gold just stays where it is, and if which is a realistic expectation, it could go higher. You know, let's be positive here. You know, some people are saying $2,000 gold, whatever. But if gold just stays where it is, these companies, these big and mid-sized companies, are going to be flush with cash, and they're going to be short of ounces, short of resources. So as that 2 to 3 year period plays out, excuse me, and if First Mining Gold is in an economical way able to continue to advance Springpole and Goldland, it could be like, you know, a perfect storm, confluence of good factors, however you want to say it, for this company. And right now, it's, I mean, this is, I would say, a beat down stock. Could it go lower? Absolutely. You know, if gold goes to $1,000 an ounce, if gold goes to $1,200 an ounce, and they don't get, you know, their permitting process at Springpole gets delayed, whatever, this could go down. But I think the potential on the, you know, the chances of doubling or tripling for this stock are about as equal to the chances of it being cut in half. And to me, that's a good speculation. So I guess that's it, guys. We'll hope for the best. And I appreciate you watching, and have a great day.